Hey, how's it going, fellow INFJ folk? Thank you for clicking on the video. So I had this idea I really been thinking about and really reflecting on myself and what it is to have a cat in the family. And throughout the years, I really developed this deep connection with my cat and really started to understand the spirituality of my cat and also how we related and how we were so similar. And I don't know for anybody else out there, if they're cat owners, if you own a cat, and if you notice the same thing. Like, cats are very INFJ-like. It could just be me, or just seeing what I want to see. But there's a lot of points that really stood out to me, and I was like, oh my God. And I think that's why I connected on such a deep level with him. I know I can't go into his processing, but I can look at the spirituality and everything about how the theories of what a cat is and how they see more and they look to see more and that they see in the fifth dimension. So when I just started looking at it, I was seeing how emotionally reserved he is. And by emotionally reserved, it's not like he never showed his emotions and he never engaged. It was just all right, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to be so reactive to a lot of things. And it's that's me as an INFJ. I don't show much facial reactions or give off much energy until it really connects, or until I'm open with somebody, or it's the right time and the right place, and that's what he would do. And so I learned to give him his space. There'd be times when I'd be pushing him and go play with him. I wanted to play with him. I wanted to connect with him. I just wanted to be around him. And so I'd go engage with him. And there's times he would give in. He would open up and we'd play just a little bit. But then he'd be like, okay, that's enough. All right, leave me alone. Swipe at me get out of here. Leave me alone. It's a cat thing. But then there's a lot of times where he'd just come up to me and hey, I want to hang out, get my attention, flop on the ground, and just be like, come on, let's play. And so we'd start playing. And he would sit there and allow me to talk to him and tell me when he wants to eat. And he'd thank me. Or he'd come up to me and ask me for certain things, cat talk. Wow, 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 wow. And just all these different type of ways to let you know he's looking for something or he needs something. But a lot of time, he was very resourceful. Because we have a large family. There's 8 of us in the family. So he always had someone to go to. And that was another thing that I really noticed about him, that he was very individualized. So he went and gave each different family member different parts of him. And he knew how to engage with them differently. Some he would love and lay down with more. Some that he would allow them to hold him. And he would just lay with them and be with them. And he'd play with them. He'd stay in their room. And I don't know, that's what I seen that as. And I see myself as that, as a parent and as an INFJ. It's that chameleon effect, right? Where we give what they need or what we see and think that they need by being instinctual, right? That's the right, how you say it? Yeah. And so, I see that and his ways of being and ways of doing. But also, like, he knew his healing powers. And that's where my spiritualness comes in. Like, I know that everybody has healing powers, and it's just if we focus on it. So that's always been a thing that I try to do, like, to absorb the pain and emotions and pull it out of them so I can go give it away when needed, or I just absorb it, to take it from them and make them feel better. And even just learning what to say or how to say things or just to listen at the right times. And so thinking about his healing powers, like there's something about it. Like, I knew he knew what he was doing at different times. Like, he felt different types of pain. It wasn't his instincts to go seek someone out when something was wrong or when they needed something, and he could give them what they needed. And like, I think back, oh my God, this is like so much when I'd be sick and I'd be laying in my bed, and he usually rarely ever comes upstairs. But he'd come upstairs and you'd lay down with me and you'd purr for the longest time, just purr and purr. And there's like scientific facts or scientific studies actually out there that shows people who have cats, their risk of heart attacks and strokes greatly decrease because of the purring vibration that it gives off. Sends out a healing vibration to people and calms them down. And what I see is binaural beats and other healing type of beats and vibrations that sends out certain healings, and that people have the capabilities of and finding of to use those. And that was his healing vibration. And it was just, it like changed your whole mindset and your whole energy and your vibrations and how you felt. Because, it was loving. It was healing what he would be giving, right? So he'd come lay up here and he'd just be purring. And then, like, when I first started thinking about it, it was like, oh, he's enjoying the time. That's why he's purring, or he likes something, he's purring. But then, like, when you do that, like, I wasn't playing with him. I was sick. And I'll just be laying there, but he's just purring. He's all rubbing up on me, then he'd come lay by my chest or by my legs or wherever, but he'd be by me and just, like, sending that purring vibration, which would, like, was healing vibrations. Because he'd do that for the days that I would be sick. And, like, my sickness wouldn't last long. Like, it would be like a day or two, then I was good. And it would, like, sometimes be some, like, hardcore flus. Like, that's the only time, like, I really allow myself to be sick. Otherwise, I just tough it up. But, so when I'd be sick, then he'd come up there, and that's like a beautiful thing. And just like, yeah, knowing when you had a bad day, sometimes he would distance himself, and there'd be other times when he'd just come up to you and just throw off that whole vibration. It's like, all right, hey. And it's just like, it's so special, and that he's such a reserved being that when he's stepping out of his comfort zone, it's got to mean something. Something that takes you out of whatever vibration and energy that you have, if it's a negative or down feeling type of thing going on, and you forget about it and you focus on the energy that he's giving you. Like I said, it's beautiful. Like, even he like over these 5 years, like, because when I left my last workplace, is because it was like a death of a relationship because I was so invested in doing the work that I was trying to do and that I wanted to do, but then I got restricted on certain things, and it was problemsome, right? And it was violence breeding different type of violence in that work, and I didn't want to be a part of that, so I had to leave. So then, like, I really went in a depression. I distanced myself from my spirituality and my connecting with myself and reflecting and looking within myself to grow. But then, like, our interactions and how he would interact with me started getting me to do that deeper looking at him and what he was meaning and how to know him better. And it kind of expanded on through the whole family, but just like trying to really understand him. And I know I could never really do it because I am not a cat. And there's so much more to learn and try to understand, but I was like gradually getting there. But what he did was like help me to start focusing on knowing thyself again and to look at the spirituality of my being and the beings around us and the energies, and it led me to be more open with MBTI, with astrology, with just reconnecting with myself and finding that balance that I've always needed, into growing as an individual, as a spiritual being, having this human experience. He was a guiding light for me. And so, like, I don't know if you picked up on it. You might have. But like some of the phrases and some of the words that I'm saying sounds past tense. And like when I originally started making this video, my cat was alive. Meaning that my cat passed away. And it's crazy because it happened so suddenly. And it was before I went to work. Like, something was wrong with him, and I couldn't figure it out, so I didn't have time to figure it out because I had to leave to work. And he was very lethargic. So I was at work and I was focusing on work. I came back and I didn't know where he was at in the house. So I just came upstairs and like I didn't really think about it. I kind of forgot about it. And I was tired, so I went to sleep. I woke up the next day, then I had to go to the cities to pick up my daughters and my wife because, like I said in that previous video where we were talking about death, where they had like 3 deaths in the family and friends, and also me too. Like, I had cousins who died just in the past month. And that affected me in a small way. But then when I picked him up, and I didn't want to tell him what was wrong because, so before I did go, like, he was like worse and I didn't know what to do. I started trying to look, but then I had to go pick them up in the morning and came back, and we're up there a little bit longer because ride systems, and it just didn't work. I ended up being up there longer than I originally wanted to. So then the wife took over on driving, and I was trying to look at what possibilities it could be by the small sample of what I saw. Then when I tried to reach out to the local vet, like, I missed their call, and I tried to call them back, and it was a phone tag thing, and there was no real connection. He told me what to do. Go check their temperature. I ran to Walmart and went and got one of those digital thermometers. I came back and like he was like really, really bad. Anyway, so what he was doing, he was like crawling to everyone And he was like meowing, whimpering actually. And to me, I was like taking it like he was saying, I love you. Because I knew he was dying. And we all felt like he knew he was died. But he like crawled to everyone and he spoke and he sent out what I felt like was vibrations. Sending love and vibrations. And letting everybody know it's going to be okay. Because I believed he was more than just a cat. And originally when I first got him, or when we first got him, I never wanted a cat. I refused to open up to an animal again ever since I had my last pets when I was a kid. I didn't want it. Like I said, I'm very emotionally reserved. And for all my different reasons through life. So I didn't want that night, and I just thought like, well, cats, how can you even develop a connection? How can that be something that's a pet or whatever, you know? I never seen that connection until the years spent with him. And he was my baby. He's my son. I was his father. He wasn't a pet. He was family. And so when he passed, the thing that I struggle with is being a parent and not being able to take away his pain. Because I couldn't take him to a hospital, I just spent all my money to get my car fixed days before that. Because I needed it for work. So I had like no money. And the vets required money up front. So I felt so hopeless. I couldn't take away his pain, but like when he responded to me, it was like, I know, it's okay. I love you. But that pain of just knowing your son, your baby's gone. And so, like, what we did, like, all of us, like, cried and seeing him there laying on the floor. We watched his last breaths the whole time while I was trying to figure out what to do or what could possibly be wrong. I couldn't figure it out. So then, wrapped him up. Then we had it set up like an awake. We had him there for a day. We all had our time to say our conversations with him, what we needed to say. Then, instead of burying him, because he's a part of family and he imprinted on each of our hearts and our lives forever, we want to keep him. We didn't want to put him in somewhere. And when we move away, not be able to see him. So we cremated him at home. It was an 8-hour process. It was hard. My kids helped me. It was like a ceremonial and also like a healing process in a way, but also like a grieving process to do that. And so we got him in ashes so he can remain with us. But also the fact that oh my God, it's like messages the past couple days just like telling me things. Like you see reminders of him, but then there's a message behind it. Like a lot of the messages to get back to what I needed and what he was trying to help me reconnect with in myself and figuring out myself and balancing myself and my life and finding that love within myself again, understanding myself, then expanding on with my family. And that's how I'm going to live a better life. That's how I'm going to feel better. Like, these are all the things that he was teaching me and the messages that he was sending to me. I believe that's what it really has been. And so I understand why cats were almost like looked at as gods back in the day. And like, even through my DNA analysis, like, I have a connection with, it's an Egyptian connection with, I can't remember offhand who that king was, but I have a DNA connection back to Egypt. But then also understanding my south node, my past life, and understanding how there's deeper connections and where you can, when you have when you got that pulling, that driving force, like, you don't know why you're drawn to this place or these things. And what I've heard is that it's because of a past life. So I've always been interested in learning about Egypt and Egyptians and cats, really, before I even had a cat. And it was just something that I never understood, which is probably the reason why he came into my life. Things happen for a reason. To further your growth and development in this life, and to carry on and be more set for the next life that you do have. So he was meant for me. He was meant for my whole family. And it's crazy, like, because when you think about INFJ advocates like I am, like it said, like, there's a high purpose for INFJs. And also in astrology where there's great intentions and purpose that you have in this life. And it's for you to learn from your past life so you can live your best life and live your purpose. Because there's something great that we all are supposed to do as INFJs, not to say we're more than, but that's something that I've heard and something that I always believed, like, instinctually was meant to be that way. So, like, I can look at my George and be totally grateful for the life that we had together. I think it's healing. Oh my God. I've cried so much. It's been so many years since I cried. Like, cried. I was telling my wife, I was like, oh my God, I cry weird. And she's like, what do you mean? It was like, cause like how I cry, like I was trying to run away and hide, but it's like the first time I really think that my family has seen me cry. Even my mom, like, I helplessly cried. I was crying in the middle of the nights. And my wife would wake up and she'd hold me. And I was like when I posted it, like, there's some people, or a lot of people who I really don't think they understand the deep connection, because how reserved we are, and like how reserved I am as an INFJ, that to give off so much of myself and my being and who I am and show so much. And when you lose that reflection and that spiritual being and that loved one, it hurts so much. Like I told my mom, like, I connected with him in these years more than 95% of the people that I have in my life. And so, I don't know. That's so INFJ of him. That's all I'm saying. He brought the best of me. Brought out the best of me. And I think I brought out the best in him. It was a great lifetime that we spent with each other. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to get over it because, like I said, he's my son. He's my baby boy. I just thought I'd share the deeper part of this connection with you. I'd appreciate that. Oh my God, but some of the things that like irritated me, like how some people were like, oh, so sorry you lost your pet. Like this was going on my mom or my wife's thing. Like, I'm sorry you lost your pet. And she made a point to say this, he's not a pet. He's our son. We love him so deeply. So people still calling him a pet. Like, don't say nothing. If you can't understand, Then we even had some who's like, well, it's probably this. You probably should have did this. You probably should have did that. Like, oh my God. No. We just lost a loved one. We don't want to hear the coulda, woulda, shoulda type of stuff. Like, how insensitive is that? You need to do some metacognition. Being like an INFJ. Well, yeah. It's crazy because I was just thinking about that. Like, oh my God. It's so crazy how we're so alike. Then bam. He's gone within a day. Sorry that I end this on a sad note, depressing note. I'm depressed. I'm sad. Oh, I'm so grateful. I'm emotional. I cried so much. I'm guessing it's because there's been so many years of hurt and pain and buildup and relating to why I'm so reserved. There's all a connection. So it was a healing process, like I said. That's why he came into my life. I don't know. I love you, my George. I will always love you how I do. I let go of a prayer for you. Thank y'all for listening. Comanche the INFJ. Live long and prosper. Have a great day.